Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Avadon. Last episode, we helped Janelle deal with the whole problem that was happening in here. Now, well, before we leave and head back to Avadon, we need to go to Vid's camp, see if he's still there, and let him know that everything is fine. No, he's still here. Vid, Shaman Theresia is dead. I am sad to hear it. The death of a shaman is always a loss. Yet I knew that this was how this tale would end. A simple thing, but at least he knows. I do wonder what's in here, but we wouldn't be able to do that unless we had a Shadow Walker or a Sorceress. We'd have to come back some other time. I guess we'll leave it locked for now. Alright. We've done enough. It's time to get out of here. Let's head back to Avadon. I'll cut it while I make the long run back. Oh, God damn it. Go away! I don't want you. Okay, we made it back to Avadon. And our companions leveled up again. Excellent. Let's get the improvements here. Excellent, we can get a point in Shattering Blow. Might prove handy. And you, Nathalie, I want to get your strength to 10. And what are we going to improve with you? If we can get that improved, that would be very interesting. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yes. A point in Ice Storm and a point in Magical Mastery. I suppose that's fine. We'll put one more point in Magical Mastery later. Actually, 2 points in Ice Storm would get us Firestorm, which is very powerful, I imagine. No, I want to get Searing Spray up to get the acid damage. But first, before we go, I really think we should go and speak with Janelle. Oh wait, we have plate boots that... Can anyone else use those? Yes, you can use those. That works. Okay. Let's see if we can speak with Janelle and if she has anything more to say. Janelle continues to pace around the garden. Her earlier carefree attitude is completely gone. Her struggles in Camarilla are still very much with her. Oh, Jason, it is you. I'm thinking about Avadon. Something I wish I could stop doing it. What are you thinking? I left my homeland because the elders and shamans were jealous of me. That is what I say, and it is true. But that is not all. I left because I was angry. Why? Because I wanted to change things. I saw the foolish things that they did, strange practices that went back centuries, and I had to leave. I knew I had to change things, so I went to a place where I was sure they needed changing. Should you have stayed to change your tribe's ways? I don't think so. I don't know. When I see something I don't like, how do I tell whether it is wrong or I just haven't seen the reason for it yet? But Avadon could improve, I am sure of it. So you will change Avadon? I must try. The power they hold, can it ever be used justly? Or will they take away my people's ways one by one until there is nothing left that makes us... us? Redbeard does not care about our ways, or anyone's ways. Can we live with him? You should keep arguing. I will. I will keep using my voice. But words, they seem so weak, so inadequate. Sometimes people need to... I must think. Much more. She walks off. Shadowy figures in the undergrowth follow her. I do wonder a bit. Well, very well. I wonder. Do you have anything to say? Probably not, but... Oh, there you are. Probably not, Shima. Shima Threespear is sitting at his customary table, and as usual he is alone. He slowly sips some ale. You have not seen him drink before. Then he looks up at you. You can see in his eyes that he is agitated.
Welcome, Jason. Please join me. I welcome the company, and I need to speak with you.
How's the ale?
It is unfamiliar. Any sort of spirit leaves me with a splitting headache. Any such revelry is repaid with a greater rate of pain. And yet, at times I feel the need.
What's wrong?
That is what I need to speak with you about.
Very well, what do you need to tell me?
Our work is taking us to Hulklandia, to my land. It means that I must speak with you so that we are both prepared.
Is this something I need to know?
It is if we are to fight together without you being confused by my actions.
What do you need to tell me?
I am of the Three Spear clan, once proud, then very recently brought low by the treachery of another clan, the Honored Forge. You do not need to ask me about my clan and its history, but you may wish to. It is good to understand.
You're from Hulklandia. He nods slowly.
I am. I have only been a warrior of Avadon for 3 years.
Tell me about Hulklandia.
It is not like Avadon, not like any land in Linnaeus. It is very...
He looks out at the boisterous activity of the dining hall.
very ordered, quiet and calm on the surface. It is as violent and torn as any other land of Linnaeus, but in a much more dignified way.
Is Hulklandia content as part of the pact?
Of course. As proud as we are, we know that we are safest from the empires of from the warriors of Cameria and the Tawan Empire when we band with others. We have our rivalries, and we and Kalimdariel have spilled much of each other's blood, but we still are wise enough to know that the pact means survival. Thus, I am here fighting for it.
Shima Threespear is sitting at his customary seat in the dining hall, watching with interest those who come and go. He talks with all who are not frightened by his odd regalia. You sit with him for a time. He is silent, though you sense that he is eager to speak with you. Do you learn much from the people passing through?
Of course. Most choose not to speak with me, but from those who do, I can absorb every bit of knowledge I can about the lands of Linnaeus, about the Pact and the Farlands.
Why don't they speak with you?
Shadow Walkers are feared, and it is wise to do so. As with Avadon, the attention of a Shadow Walker can be fatal. And yet some, once they sense that I am not currently tasked to kill them, are interested to actually meet one of my kind.
What sorts of bits of knowledge do you look for?
Scraps of language, of etiquette, of knowing when to nod and speak and be silent. The sort of details that can mean the difference between discovery and concealment when spying in the Farlands.
And most fear you?
Yes. Shadow Walkers are spies and assassins. That holds a natural terror for most. Understandably, perhaps.
You are not ashamed to be a spy and assassin.
No. Are you? We are both warriors of Avadon. Spying and killing are our most frequent work. I wish to discuss something else.
I need to go.
Then I will await your call.
I was not able to learn anything that he wished to tell me. But very well. The Three Spear and the Honored Forge are not allied with each other. Hand Callan, if I may, can I... is there anything else I can do for you? No, but can we discuss my companions? She nods.
Of course. You often will not be able to choose.
Okay. Janelle slipped away from Avadon to help some warriors of the Wildrealm.
Ah, yes. We had wondered where she went to. Our information about happenings in the Wildrealm can be faulty. And when you were there, did you learn anything about the tribesfolk she aided?
They were poor and isolated in enemy territory. She helped to rescue them. That is all I know.
Really? And you know nothing of the reason they were hiding out there far from the safety of the Pact and Avadon? I'm surprised that you learned nothing else. But I will be content with your tale, and I will hope that Janelle is content as well.
I have nothing else to say. Alright, let's see if either of our other two companions have anything to say. I do wonder about that. They're right in here. Sevlin is sitting at his desk, polishing and preparing his weapons. However, he is not looking well. His eyes are bloodshot and his hands tremble gently. He has not been sleeping well. Or at all. Excuse me, Jason. I was not expecting you. I was just preparing to rest. What is bothering you? I cannot stop thinking about that bandit. The one with the scar. The one who scarred me. He did it, you know. He marked me to match him. To make me like him. bandit will be dealt with. Pull yourself together. Yes, we know where the bandit is. We can wait and... No. The bandit will flee soon. Someone must act. I must rest. Prepare. Think clearly. You are right. I will rest. Do what I can to prepare myself. Whatever it takes to sleep. Excuse me. He removes a bottle from his desk and staggers off toward his bed. Sevelin, I am worried about you. Right, let's stop in my room so I can drop off these things that I just do not need. The blinking pants would be the same thing. They would also be a problem. God, we have so many runestones, and I use none of them. Alright. Nathalie, do you have anything to say? When you approach Nathalie, she sets a scroll aside and rises from her chair. There is an intensity in her eyes that is unsettling in one so small and so young. I have been meaning to talk to you. There is something we must discuss. Very well, Nathalie, what is it? She seems surprised. I'm glad that you will listen. I try to be patient, but in this time of crisis I can wait no more. Go on. I want to know why we are not doing more. This is a time of chaos. We should not be so idle. You should be taking me through the portals and hunting down those who dare to challenge Avadon. When will you be taking me out to fight? Be patient. All hands wish a chance to fight for Avadon. She nods. Then she dismisses your words with a wave of her hand. Be patient. How I hate the word. Every day a bit more of my youthful strength and potential slows away, but I am told to be docile and thrown in and drown in my patience. But I will withstand it. I will stay patient. I have learned my lesson. Do you wish anything else? There is something else I want to discuss. No. Okay, we have nothing else to say. That's all for now, thanks. Nathalie, you really must be patient. You're young, arrogant, impetuous. Something I want to sell. Sell everything in the bag, sell that, and sell those. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, now, I believe it was a white orb that we got. I don't remember which doors opened up from it. So let's see where we can go in. That is a red orb. That is not where we go in. That one is also a red orb, so it must be up in the north here. Alright then. How about we start up here? Because I'm pretty certain that over here will open up. I want to take a look at the north end first. No, that's also a red orb. Okay then. Then it must be, this must be the only way in. Or over there, but Yep, here we go. This is the legendary Library of Avadon. Books on history, magic, and the many languages and cultures of Linnaeus surround you. The library is cared for by a number of eyes who watch you with mistrust when you get close to their precious tomes. This is one of the catalogs for the Avadon Library. They have thousands of rare tomes here, some centuries old. Taking them out of the library for any reason subjects all but the most influential to gruesome penalties. Same thing there. This book is about the First Age. Okay, let's find out about it. The treaty that formed the Pact was signed by representatives of the 5 member states in cycle 6,312 years before the current date. Overlord Hanvar of Holklandia, architect of the Pact, was present at the signing. He even had several years to appreciate the triumph before his assassination. There were several years of predictable tumult after the signing. Each member state had its own little civil war, as proud citizens who refused to surrender any sovereignty to outsiders emerged and were crushed. Of course, Hanvar was so associated with the creation of the Alliance that assorted bounty hunters, assassins, and shadowwalkers were falling over themselves to be the one to kill him first. Eventually, of course, someone succeeded. Once those who objected to this new order were safely dead, a new and unprecedented period of peace and prosperity came to the Pact's members. The Pact members no longer spent valuable resources fighting each other. Instead, they were free to defend themselves from the far lands. These states in turn were never united, and their raids and barbarian incursions were met by powerful defenders. Within decades, these scattered and demoralized states did little without the permission of the Pact. Alas, the five Pact states remained proud. On the surface, they were united and strong. Underneath, national pride and ancient grudges conspired to break the alliance apart. Resentment turned to violence in Cycle 6203, and the Black Age began. We have read on the Black Age and kinda know what's going on there. Can we go in here? Nope, too complicated to even be picked. You meet one of the Eyes of Avadon, skilled sages who gather and organize massive amounts of information. Then when hands go into danger, they can do so equipped with as much knowledge as possible. For all their value, they are a quiet and standoffish crew. You try to speak with them, but apart from a warning about removing tomes or scrolls from the library, you learn little. Ah, here's another tome. The Third Age. There must be a book in here about the Second Age. I'd like to read that beforehand. Is it this one? The End of the Black Age. This must be the last one. The Black Age. Alright then, let's take a look at all of these. Next, the Black Age. The Black Age, which began in Cycle 6203, was a long series of wars between Pact states. For over 30 years, while Hanvar's council met and pretended things were well, the states they represented fought each other constantly and viciously. The Black Age had many causes. Trade disputes, old grudges, patches of miserable land whose ownership had been disputed for centuries, the belief of all parties involved that their culture and beliefs were superior to those of everyone else. The result was chaos. First, raids, waylaid caravans, punishing tariffs, and minor incursions of troops over the borders of others. But things escalated. The Black Age's official beginning was marked by Hulklandia sending over 1,000 warriors into Baraza Woods, land long claimed by neighboring Kalimdariel. Many soldiers on both sides died. This triggered a variety of treaties and informal agreements, some centuries old. Soon, the western half of the Pact, Hulklandia and the Wild Realm, were in an informal war with the eastern half, the Kava and Kalimdariel. Darum, on the east coast, tried not to pick sides. In turn, they found themselves unsupported when the raiders of Svorgald came calling. And, of course, the Farlands wasted no time in taking advantage of the chaos. For the first time in over a century, raiding wretches and barbarians took a bloody toll on the lands of the Pact. The end of the Black Age. In the years before Cycle 6237, the members of the Pact realized the extent of their mistake. The Black Age, over 3 decades of civil war, had erased all gains of the First Age. The Farlands ran wild. Hanvar's council still met regularly, but it had no power or influence. And then, as before, a lone hero rose to save them. A woman named Talera, one of the representatives of Darum in Hanvar's council, left the council and became a neutral diplomat. A neutral, bloodthirsty diplomat who worked to negotiate a peace and use her massive private fortune to hire a host of assassins. Those who opposed her work in the name of peace tended to die mysteriously. Talera's work was actually fairly easy in some ways. All members of the Pact wanted a face-saving way to end their conflict. They were eager to stop fighting, but how could peace, once attained, be maintained? Talera's stroke of genius was the creation of Avadon. A fortress and enforcer, independent and impartial, staffed with her own assassins, who would stand apart and crush all who acted against the stability of the Pact. The Treaty of the Five Powers was signed in Cycle 6237. It ended the war and compelled the 5 states of the Pact to provide money and resources to form Avadon. Now an independent force would watch them and rein them in for their own good. The Third Age. Once the Treaty of the Five Powers was signed in Cycle 6237, ending the Black Age and decades of civil war, the Pact powers returned to their favorite activity, crushing the Farlands. Within a few years, the barbarians and outsiders had been beaten back. This was the beginning of the Third Age, a new time of peace and prosperity. This time, the Pact had Avadon to watch over it. Talera, the first master of Avadon, was impartial, cunning, and ruthless. None who would disrupt the Pact escaped her wrath. But of course, a war of the size and scale of the Black Age invariably left a variety of grudges, unpunished crimes, and blood debts. Many resented the Pact for denying them the lost lands or bloody revenge they felt was their due. But these aggrieved parties soon learned to stay quiet or attract the attention of Avadon. The current year is 6312. All who fought in the Black Age are safely dead, sometimes even of old age. The old days of prosperity and security have returned. It is hoped that many of the old grudges are forgotten. The five powers of the Pact are unlikely allies, each disliking and fearing the others, each united by a common need to band together for strength. They are united by fear and necessity. It is hoped that this terror, combined with the power of Avadon, will keep the Pact together for many years to come. Wait. The Pact is kept together by fear? That stands in opposition to everything that stories and the like always talk about. Wow. Okay, that is a twist. Okay, why am I finding it so hard to comprehend this? Okay, they kept saying that they stay together because okay, somehow this is breaking me a little. I'm gonna need some time to think about this, but let's finish looking around here first. Liera, we heard about you before below. There's an old woman wandering among the library's shelves. She inspects everything intently, swooping in instantly to correct anything that is out of place. She may seem unsteady on her feet, but when she sees a scroll in the wrong position on a shelf, she is all action. Then she sees you. First, she inspects your hands to make sure that you aren't about to get grime on her precious tomes. Then she says in a whispery voice,
Ah, Hen. Haven't seen many of you in here over the last few weeks. I'm Liera, head librarian. I hope you're here to assist me.
Well, tell me about the library. She looks at the impeccably ordered lines of books with pride.
The Library of Avadon is the envy of Linnaeus, the finest accumulation of information in the known lands.
Is this really all the books you have? There is a long pause. She stares at a shelf. Then she remembers that you were there.
What? This is the paltry collection? No, this is just the works I felt had immediate interest. The tower above us has the deep stacks, a collection of works 10 times the size of what you see here.
There are no better libraries anywhere. She smiles faintly.
There were, especially in the Common Empire. Then my eyes got to them.
Why does Avadon need such a library? Her voice is flat as if reciting a speech memorized long ago.
The job of Avadon is to protect the Pact. It does so by watching all lands for threats. We cannot see a threat without understanding the people. We cannot understand the many people of Linnaeus without the knowledge here.
What sort of books do you keep?
We keep what we need to understand the cultures. Not just histories, but legends and tales, works of etiquette, language studies. If you need to understand Svorgald or the Kava or the sources of the corruption, you come here.
And I can take out any book I want. Liera finally shows an emotion. Horror.
Of course not. The hands would only destroy my valuable tomes. Only Hearts and the Keeper himself may take works from the library.
Do hands ever recover works for you? Liera smiles.
They try, but they tend to be damaged and dirty and useless. However, if you find any papers of magical interest in your travels, we would accept them for inspection and reimburse you for the effort. I do realize how hands hate to do anything for free.
I think we have a few of them. How long Liera speaks with you, her voice never rising above a whisper. As you talk, something about her seems strangely disconnected. It is as if she has to concentrate carefully to interact with people. How long have you served in Avadon? There is a long pause, long enough to make you wonder if she heard the question. Then she says,
I have been in Avadon for almost 50 years, almost as long as Redbeard. I have served him for a long time, long enough to earn my title.
She smiles wryly.
He likes having me around. He likes that I tell my story.
Where are you from?
I am from Hooklandia, though I have been here for so long that I barely remember it. It is a proud place, and some there resent the power Avadon has over it.
She stops speaking for a moment.
But I am telling my tale unbidden now.
What is your title?
They call me one of Redbeard's wives, a joke that I never found funny in the slightest.
Will you tell me your story?
Of course. I came here from Hooklandia with 2 others, both hands. Our goal was to assassinate Redbeard. We settled in as best we could, learned the workings of the fortress, and waited.
Why are you telling me this? Her eyes betray no emotion.
Because it is part of my purpose here. As a librarian, I educate. This story teaches the futility of opposing Redbeard.
Why do you want to kill Redbeard? Because some in Hoaglandia hated the power an outsider had over them. They are all long gone now. It has been so long that I can remember few of the details. What happened? He found out. He always finds out. I imagine he suspected us from the beginning, so we were taken to the dungeons. What did they do to you? They read all contained within our minds and used it. They did not touch our bodies. They did not need to. Then Redbeard came to me personally. He knew that I was broken. He offered me this post as a servant and living example. I accepted. And your two companions? They would never submit. They were true believers. They were executed. The bodies were burned, and their ashes returned to Hoaglandia. And you have served here ever since? Yes, unharmed, except that the reading of my mind left me disconnected. Maybe it was not the reading. Maybe I have been broken by the knowledge of my failure, my surrender. It does not matter. I became a new person, a servant of Avadon, comfortable and loyal. There's no point in ever opposing Redbeard. That is the lesson, and my tale is done. How else can I help you? You said that you need assistance. Yes, and the hands have been unable to help me so far. I understand, in fact, that you are one of the few hands left actually in Avadon. The recent disturbances in the fortress released several beasts that were under study. Some of them had taken residence in our stacks, keeping us from obtaining needed tomes. Would you kindly destroy them? What do you know about the creatures? They are skeletons. We are eyes, not warriors. Simply go upstairs and strike them until they no longer move. We would be happy to clean up the mess when you are finished. I'll help you. Then I will have the door to the tower unlocked for you. Let me know when it is safe for my scribes to ascend. Gladly. And history scrolls, not arcane scrolls. Okay. Let me just take a quick peek around here. That's the path we're going to take to the new portal. And it looks like there is another book over here. Fine, let's see what this says. This book is about the Willed Realm. Really? Of all places, this says the Willed Realm. Very well, let's see what it has to say. In terms of land, the Willed Realm is the largest of the 5 states in the Midlands Pact. In population, it is by a narrow margin the smallest. Of course, that is only counting human population. If you count the drakes, werewolves, and other lethal pets of the Willed Realm's tribes, the number goes way up. Ignoring the tamed beasts of the western tribes is a lethal mistake. The Willed Realm is not so much a nation as a very loose confederation of barbarian tribes. They are not insulted by the word barbarian. In fact, they claim it with great pride. As the rest of Linnaeus moved into stone cities with thick walls, the tribesfolk of the Willed Realm continued to roam their vast plains and woods. Normally, in any conflict between cities and tribes, the cities win. But the shamans of the Willed Realm, with their powerful chants and lethal reptilian servants, have done well maintaining their independence. Though the tribes love to fight each other, for land, supplies, or artifacts, they will unite in an instant to deal with invaders. The Willed Realm's time in the Pact has not been without strife. The individual tribes fiercely claim absolute control over their lands. They tend to demand tolls from soldiers and merchants of the rest of the Pact who wish to cross, a violation of the terms of the Pact. This has led to bloodshed, and it will doubtless continue to do so. Well, that is about all we have to explore. There's still this red area, but I don't know what's there. Alright. Oh, and you leveled up. Alright, a point in intelligence, and what was I going to do? Oh, yes. Call Hellhound. Right. That is going to be the end of this episode. Next episode, we'll go up and deal with what she asked us to deal with, and then perhaps go into Kalimdariel. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I'm Chester44. That is Jason Sevelin. That is Jason and all my companions. Sevelin, Shima, Janelle, and Nathalie. This has been an Avadon Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.